Welcome everybody. Welcome to the very first Agents Gizathon that will be happening on the Encode side. Hey everybody, hope you're having a great day. Do sound off in chat, GM, let me know where you're all coming from. Welcome to our platform of choice, Livestorm. We hope you find it as a great home and hope you keep on being active on it. Nice to see you all. Do let me know where you're all coming from. I'm always interested how many ends of the world we have participants on from. Hey, a lot of people coming in. Turkey, Kazakhstan, nice. Hey, everybody's coming in, so wait for a small second. But yeah, an amazing day. A lot of you probably have already received a lot of communication in advance for what's going to be happening with throughout this hackathon, but we will go through all the most important bits in a second. To kick things off, love to welcome you all. My name is Yasin, and I will be the main person you end up being in contact with for the next 3 weeks as we hack together. I will be your program manager. This is a QR link in case you want to drop me a DM on Twitter, but I'm also quite active and online on Discord, so do reach out to me in case you have any questions. And I'll make sure to quickly respond. A quick thing about us, we are in Encode Club and we're in emerging tech education community. We try and help a lot of you learn, build and find your career paths in emerging tech and with programs such as this one. We do a lot. We are known to be working on all kinds of programs, starting from Educate series, public for everyone, free to attend and learn. We do a lot of hackathons for those of you that have already mastered and have a skill set that they can put to the test. We do a lot of accelerators for some of the best teams that pop up out of these hackathons, and we have specifically boot camps for people that want to master a dedicated skill. And for those of you that are already ready to kind of land in the Web3 ecosystem for full time, we do a lot of recruitment as well and helping a lot of those from both Web2 and Web3 to find their own niche and spot within the ecosystem. Today, we're marking off the beginning of a 3-week-long endeavor, a hackathon that is centered around experimenting, innovating, and exploring custom strategies using machine learning and other algorithms to hopefully develop novel agent functionalities. So the next 3 weeks are going to be really intense. There's going to be a lot of interesting workshops that have been planned that will be happening throughout the week. We have some amazing representatives from the Giza team that will be in our Discord. We're going to be helping you out over the course of the next 3 weeks. So first of all, a quick thank you for all the sponsors that are involved in this amazing program, starting off with Giza. We have Starknet, Enzyme, ZK Sync, Linear, and Lambda as well, coming in to support you all with amazing boot camps, amazing bounties and prizes associated with them. Continuing on, what is going to be happening and what can you expect in the next 3 weeks? For those of you that are yet to register, please make sure to do so. If you go to our webpage, you're going to see a nice short form to enlist yourself and move on directly to finding a team if you don't have one. At the moment you register, you'll be receiving a hacker pack, which contains a lot of the links that you will ever be in need of. And among them is a team formation link. So if you're coming in alone, don't worry. There's a lot of people like you trying to find who and someone to build with, and we're going to be helping you out with this. The moment you end up registering, your profile will be added to a job board, and you will be able to look at the list of everybody else that is looking for a team. Once you have an idea of who you're going to be working with, the best thing to do is just attend the workshops. There's going to be a lot of technical and interesting things that will be covered over the course of the next few days. There's also going to be a very interesting panel happening on a Thursday, but a few bit more details on this in a second. Afterwards, you will need to start working on your project. This is going to be a 3-week-long hackathon, so your time is mostly limited to these 3 weeks, so not too much time to waste. So make sure to make the most out of it. There's going to be a lot of one-to-one mentorship, and that is going to be dependent on what you're trying to build. What are the support that you will need, and the Giza team will be here to support you, and so will our team as well. We're going to be, as always, constantly online and helping you all along your journeys. Once you're done, you submit, and we then move on to the interesting bits of judging and the hackathon finale towards the very end. Our workshop, as I said, there's going to be a lot of workshop that will ideally try and prepare you for what's to come. There's a lot of bits that you need to delve deeper into, and we and the Giza team has made sure to create a really interesting schedule that probably that ideally will cover everything that you need in order to end up delivering something of value and building something towards the end of this program. There's going to be a lot of technical support you can rely on. So if at any given point in time you feel that there's something that you need support on, make yourself heard. Please make sure you post in our Discord, and you will see a response quite soon. Our Discord is really active. We have, if you have not joined yet, please make sure to navigate to your Hacker Pack, where you'll be able to find the link to join it. Assign yourself the Giza Hackathon, the Gizathon role that is specifically for this hackathon. You will be able to chat with others that will be building with you. Depending on what you are building, you will be getting additional one-on-one support, either from me, from members of our team, as well as the Giza team, depending on the nature of your issues. To move on, it's time to get a quick overview of all the bounties and prizes that you will be able to build for during this hackathon. And to do that, we're going to be, we have representatives of each of the companies that will be involved, starting off with Giza. And we have Renç with us. Hey, Renç, how are you doing?
Hey, Hassan, thank you so much for organizing all of this fantastic work. Great to see everyone in the chat. We are extremely excited to kick this incredible 2-week journey off together. I will provide a brief overview on the bounties. Later on, we'll have a bit more extended chat where we'll walk you through what we do at Giza, why we do what we do, and why we're excited to do it with you. In regards to the bounties, the overall idea is that it's the same. The main goal of these 3 weeks is building an AI agent that manages a smart strategy developed on top of a decentralized protocol. I know that was a lot already to digest, but we have the next 2 weeks to take you through all of these words, and I'm sure it's going to make a lot more sense. You are the first people in Web3 that will be participating in a hackathon that has the main objective of building an on-chain agent. So we are going to go through this journey all together. And as Yasen mentioned, we will provide hands-on support to make sure that you guys get there starting today, from thinking together on potential ideas to all the way to implementation. The Giza bounties are into 2 parts. One of them is the top agent implementation, which is basically an end-to-end implementation of an agent, with the proof in the end of an on-chain transaction. And the other one is the most innovative agent concept. You might not get to the agent implementation, but if your idea is solid enough and you have made significant progress, and if it can evolve into an agent later on, there's a prize pool dedicated to that as well. The general use cases behind it is mostly towards financial implementations, where you can work on, we have a list of potential use cases from arbitrage agents to LP automation. There's also interesting parts in decentralized social media. So the design space and creativity is quite vast for you to get on with.
Perfect. Thank you, Renç. Moving on to, you can stay on stage. We're moving on to Starknet, who also have 2 interesting bounties to build for. Maybe you can share a bit more about this.
Fantastic. Yeah, Starknet is one of the exciting partners that we have on this 3-week journey. We are building, the initial agents that we have are going to be deployed on Starknet, and they're going to be doing, for example, a cross-protocol yield aggregation. And the idea and the separation of the pool is exactly the same. On one hand, you have the on-chain implementation, which is end-to-end. And on the other hand, you have, most innovative Starknet agent, which again is based on an idea that, you guys can come up with, and, we will evaluate accordingly. In both of those things, again, potential use cases are, trading on DEXs in an autonomous way. You can do portfolio optimization, you can do asset allocation, you can do delta neutral market making. All of these ideas we're happy to tackle with you together and help you walk through.
Fantastic. Moving on to Enzyme, and let's quickly look at the stage. So we can walk you through and say,
you guys hear me?
Hey, nice to have you here.
Yeah. Thank you very much for inviting, guys. Super exciting to be here. I think when I think back of the ChatGPT moments, I think that's when we started thinking, hey, that could be a future with AI agents that do on-chain asset management. And so the kind of like a super relevant moment that we were waiting for. So excited to be here, excited to be part of this adventure with you guys. Definitely, I'm actually leading BizDev at Enzyme, and I'm having conversation on a daily basis with people that are actually asking for this type of solutions. So that it really feels like a relevant endeavor that is being taken on here. So super cool, the initiative, and super happy to be here. Absolutely. Excited also to see what kind of application we're going to receive. There's a few lines of description. If you look at the bounty, how to elaborate on those ideas. We have a pretty generic prize pool of $10,000, which I think we can allocate to up to 3 projects depending on the quality of the applications. But yeah, I think. High expectations on what can be delivered here in terms of signals, looking for automation of signal, copy trading, different type of strategy, long, short. I'm expecting a lot of creativity from the hackers here to come up with innovative solutions. So yeah, cool.
Fantastic. Thank you, Luca. Yeah, the next few weeks will surely be very interesting, and thank you for coming on board for this amazing program. Moving on, we have ZK Sync. Let's check if we have Vasilis in here.
Hi.
Hello.
And sorry for not being perfectly placed on camera. First of all, can you hear me?
Yes, we can, loud and clear.
Super. First of all, I would like to apologize to everyone for not being on a business setting. I'm actually I'm enjoying some vacation, but I really wanted to be in this call because for us as ZK Sync, but also as me as Vasilis, I'm leading business development for Matter Labs. By the way, Matter Labs is the company, the cryptography company behind the Ethereum L2 called ZK Sync. And the reason I want to be here is to, first of all, to show to you our real excitement of supporting Giza in this amazing hackathon / Gizathon, right? We have a generic prize pool of $5,000 about the best on-chain strategy using Koi. For those who are not very familiar with the ZK Sync ecosystem, Koi is one of our leading decentralized DEXs. And they already have put some work behind the scenes with the Giza team to identify where your creativity, can bring the most tangible value. And that's why we have put the prize pool in this direction. But overall, as Vasilis, I'm someone who is very passionate about AI. We're doing many things on ZK Sync, trying to bring AI on chain through agents, through intents, through many things that we will be announcing in the future. So I believe that this opportunity and the creativity that you will bring to the table will be leveraged and will be the basis for many great things that we can do on chain in the near future. The other thing I would like to highlight before I give the floor back to Yasin is that the other thing that happens on ZK Sync is that we have native account abstractions and paymaster. So in my mind, AI agent and a paymaster and account abstraction, it's a very powerful combination. So I cannot wait to see what each one of you will build. You're all amazing builders in this space. I'm personally, but also on a collective level, we are here as ZK Sync to support you with anything you need, with tutorials, with advice, with mentorship. Anything you need, the ZK Sync team will be here for you. And we're very excited to support each one of you separately. That's all for me. Yes, sir.
Fantastic. Thank you, Vasilis, for the dedication again, for taking the time to come here and welcome everybody. Thank you once again. And we're moving on to Linnea and Emily. Welcome on stage. Hello.
Hello. Hi, I'm Emily. I do DevRel for Linnea. If you're not familiar with Linnea, I guess the summary is we are a EVM equivalent ZK rollup built on Ethereum. So if you've deployed on Ethereum, it's exactly the same as Linnea, just replace your RPC network. I think the coolest thing about us is we are bootstrapped by consensus, actually. So you can think of the whole vertical integration with MetaMask, Infura, the client Bezu. So a lot of ecosystem support that we're able to leverage. To that effect, I think that makes us really exciting. for this, I guess, Giza collaboration really exciting because we're always looking for kind of new use cases, things that are moving the frontier, especially kind of as a general purpose chain, right? So in that spirit, super kind of open-ended, just looking for the top Linea agent. Basically build an AI agent using Giza SDK on Linea Sepolia, which is our testnet. And I think the things we're just looking for is like creativity, functionality, attack vectors, extensive documentation actually would be the best thing when you're judging things. Like, please make my life easier by writing the details. Otherwise, I might be lost. And I know you guys are building really amazing things. And yeah, so it's $2,000. I think the last piece I want to touch on specifically is as part of joining this hackathon, we have like a free invite for you to join our Linea Builders Club. You can get access to the team directly. It's like the easiest way to get ILS Linea test ETH outside of faucets. So I don't know who I should ping afterwards, but I can send out an invite link. And that's like the easiest way to get in contact. Definitely projects from this, I'm sure, are going to be amazing. I would love to incubate them or talk about, working together further after the hackathon as well. So lots of opportunities. Just be creative. I don't know.
Fantastic. For the link, feel free to paste in chat, and afterwards you can send to us, and we can also add it to the hackathon and to go through all the details. So it should
okay. Perfect. I will do that right now.
Thank you, Emily. Thank you. And last but not least, we have Lambda and Nick here as well. Hey, Nick.
Yeah, hey, everyone. My name is Nick. I'm representing Lambda, which is a data platform for Web3 developers from p2p.org. So we're happy to welcome ML engineers on our closed alpha. So we announced actually bounty for this hackathon members who gonna predict slashing risks in staking. So we initially we wanna be indexing data platform, multi-chain data platform, but now we have staking data, which is one of the interested topic according to eigenlayer growth and risk-taking ecosystems and this kind of thing. So the slashing risks is very important. If you're familiar with staking process, there are some penalties for node operators like p2p.org, and we and our clients, our DeFi investors want to know how to automate the decisions in staking. So when we happy to help them with you guys, and very exciting to meet so much potential data consumers as an engineer. So always in touch with you. So any one-on-one help with data, help how to understand the data, any information you will need, just let me know. Looking forward to see your awesome solutions. So yeah, really exciting.
Great, thank you, Nick. There's a lot, as everyone you can see, there's a lot of synergy between all the bounties. So there's going to be a lot of interesting things that you can end up engaging with, and just as many prizes that you can end up winning. So quick FAQs. We want to go through some of the questions, like who can take part and who can be a part of this Gizathon. Pretty much everybody, as long as you have the skill set and the desire to participate, you can just sign up and take part. Whether you can be using previously a project that you've been working on, ideally that is something that is possible, which you will have to make significant improvements on what's been done before, so that you can showcase there's a lot of work that's been done for the duration of the hackathon to justify the participation of that project. Whether you will be able to, where you will be able to find the most important bets, it's always the hacker pack. You have by now probably received it, and not probably, but you should have received it. It is somewhere in your inbox. So if you don't have it in your inbox, please do check all the other folders to find it. But I'm just also going to share the link on the page as well. So it should pop up as a notification on your end. This is going to be the hacker pack. This is the most important piece of info you will have to end up using for the duration of the program. All the links, all the workshops, everything that is happening will be recorded and will be added to the hacker pack. So all sorts of documentation will pop up. Another thing that should you'll probably be thinking as of right now is whether you will be needing a team. This is going to be a hackathon with a lot of, as you see, complicated and interesting bounties to build for, and it's always useful to have someone to team up with. So even though you are allowed to work on your own, we suggest working with a team. And to do that, I'm going to share a couple of quick links for you. One of them is to create your own profile among our dev board, which is basically going to be a quick introduction of who you are, what your skill set is, and who you will be willing to team up with. Once you end up filling out the form, you can then look out for our team dev board, which is everybody else that's already filled it in, is going to be showing up on this page. Now, all of these links I'm just showing here for convenience, but they're all in the Hacker Pack, and these are all just for you to be able to find yourself a team. Again, something which we recommend, but you're not really obliged to. It's up to you and how much you trust yourself to deliver something on your own. But we've found out that working in a team is always much, much better. And who knows, maybe you'll be meeting your next co-founder. So yeah, do end up engaging with the people you see on these lists. Lastly, where the support will be happening, whether you will be receiving any support, technical or not. The majority of the conversation is going to be happening on the Discord itself. The Encode Club Discord, links to it as also has been emailed to you in the onboarding email, as well as included in the Hacker Pack itself, and you will be able to join and request and share any issues or questions that you might be coming up on. The Giza team have impressively pretty much everybody joined our Discord, and they will be available for questions, and they will be supporting each and every one of you along their journeys. So yeah, a big applause for them. It's quite rare to see so much dedication from a team and for a program, so we're really excited to be teaming up with them, and I'm sure that you'll end up loving their support as well for over the next few weeks. Moving on, what are the key dates that you need to keep in mind of? So this week's going to be full of workshops. Today is obviously going to be the launch of it, which you are attending right now. If you're watching the recording, everything else, all the links of these events will be eventually published in the Hacker Pack itself, and you will be able to rewatch them as many times as you want. Tomorrow we'll have, after this event is done in a few minutes, we will have the very first workshop, which is going to be from the Giza team. It's going to be mostly about welcoming you and explaining what the Gizathon agents are and how you can utilize the time ahead of you the best. Tuesday, we're going to have a full stack Giza workshop. On Wednesday, we're going to have a couple of workshops. It's going to be a day stacked with of workshops. It's going to be mental models for ZKML and its applications, and then fundamentals of on-chain agents. On Thursday, it's going to be a very, very interesting day. It's a bit less technical, but very interesting nevertheless. It's going to be about all the Agent Gizathon partners that will be participating. So we will have representatives from all the sponsors to come in for a nice panel discussion that will be discussing what are the synergies between everybody else's products and how do they unify and how can they be improved with agents. Moving on, there are a few key dates to keep in mind of. One of them is the Gizathon agent idea submission deadline. Now, this one is specific to this hackathon. So those of you that are participating, those of you that have previously done hackathons, this one is a very specific deadline that you will, there's a dedicated form, which is also included in the Hacker Pack, where you will have to submit the idea that you will be working on for the next weeks by the end of this week. So you don't have to fill it in immediately. The links will be once again shared over Discord multiple times and emailed. So don't worry about this right now, but feel free to utilize this week to its full extent. Listen to all the workshops, try to find yourself a team and pick an idea to work on, and afterwards submit the details on it in the dedicated form. Based on that, you will be then getting dedicated support from the Giza team. Moving on, the next deadline to keep in mind is the actual final project submission deadline, which is going to be at the end of the third week, which is going to be Sunday, the 9th of June. We will have a dedicated form for you to fill out the details of your projects. And afterwards, the projects will be then reviewed by our team and then evaluated by the Giza team. In the week of starting the 17th and finishing on the 21st is when we will be contacting the best teams and trying to prepare them for the finale. Ideally, those will be the finalists, and then the actual finale will happen on the 26th of June. That date might change depending on the number of submissions, quality, and coordination between all teams, but we expect that to remain the case for now. Furthermore, for next steps, again, if you've not joined the Discord yet, please make sure to do so. If you want to be looking for teammates, you can use the Discord channel as well. But if not, I do encourage you to look at that and could look at that QR code and look through the teams and people that have already filled up our forms. There's almost 30 people there already who are looking for someone to team up with. So there's really interesting profiles for you to browse through, and make sure to add yourself to that list as well. Afterwards, make sure to participate in the workshops. As I said, these workshops are an amazing value for this first weekend. They're going to give you such a jump start that will hopefully be able to guide you through the rest of the Gizathon. And lastly, build your project. Rely on us. Keep in touch with us. We will be in touch as well with everything, and try to get to know what you're building, what types of support you're needing, and try to provide that either through our team or with the help of the Giza team. Lastly, if you have any questions, feel free to DM again. We are all quite active, not just me, but everybody on the Encode team. And we will be coming on, for all the other workshops as well, to help with questions where needed. I'm going to quickly go through, see whether there's any questions at the moment. And do stay back, by the way, because we're moving on to the very first workshop, as I said. Maybe we can add already Jim, Fran, and to the stage, and Renç as well. So in preparation for the event. I don't see any specific questions. How many finalists will be picked? Ideally, there will be 10 finalists, but again, that number might change depending on the quality of the submissions. There might be more, but roughly it's going to be around 10 teams. And with all of these teams, we will end up working individually and prepare over the course of like 2 pitch practice sessions to make sure that all of you are ready and prepared to pitch live during the Hackathon finale event, which is going to be the grand finale. Hey, Fran. Hey, Renç. Just one last question to go through. Can we submit projects to all partners? Yes, you are encouraged actually to use technologies from multiple partners or submit multiple projects if you feel you have the power to do so and the time to do so. But yeah, that is all from me. Welcome everybody on stage, and we'll now move on to the first workshop and general introduction to Agents and Giza. Hey all.
Fantastic, yes, and thank you so much again for kicking off this wonderful week with a great intro. Now we're going to have a little more time to discuss, again, why we do what we do at Giza. What is the idea? What is the mission? What is the vision behind Agents, and overall how you're going to go and build one? My name is Renç. I'm one of the 3 co-founders on the stage, and thank you to Encode being our growth partner. Fantastic job so far. And thanks to all our agent partners, Enzyme Finance, Startnet, ZK, Seek, Linea, and P2P for all their support and working with us in the past few days and the next few weeks for inspiring all of you. And, most of all, of course, thanks to all of you for getting on this journey with us for the next weeks. Today, we just wanted to take the time to greet you all and introduce ourselves and introduce what we do. I will give an overview of our mission and vision at Giza. Then I will pass it on to Jem. He will do an intro to the Agents mission and vision, explaining the end goal and the paradigm shift that we are all aiming for. And Fran will do an intro from a technical perspective, high level, how agents are built, what should hackers take into account, and what the architecture accomplishes. And I will do the closing with mentioning a few more things. The next few weeks, we're going to be working hand in hand, and all Giza team members will be there to support you throughout. We are a team, as Yasen mentioned, we're extremely dedicated to this, and we'll be very, very hands-on. Whatever you need, feel free to ping us at any time. At a technological level, we are excited, obviously, to push the boundaries of Web3, but at a human level, we are excited to get to know you all better. And having the best minds from all around the world taking on this challenge with us is, I think, what makes it so special. And this is what Giza is about. This is why we built Giza. We have been working on Giza since November 2022. And we always had, one thesis in mind. In order for the true adoption, true cross-pollination of AI and crypto to happen, we need to go beyond Web3. We need to build, for the machine learning engineers, for the data scientists, and to help them change the landscape of Web3 by building ML solutions for it. And today is a great, great step towards that. With that being said, I will let my co-founder and, interestingly, my childhood friend of 20 years take you through the vision and mission of Agents, and I will let Jen carry on.
Thank you, dear. You put it so well that I don't know, like, if I can surpass that, but I will try. I also want to echo the thanks to Encode. I mean, it's been just like 10 minutes. I'm in this platform. I'm also exposed to like the back end of the organization, and it's been nothing short but inspiring. I'm in this space in 7 years, and I really haven't seen such a well-organized and well put together and very hacker-centric experience. So very excited to what was to come. Let me figure out how to share my screen real quick. So I have quite a few slides, just about 8 or 9 of them, to navigate a little bit of the mental models of like what Renç mentioned, this like paradigm shift that we see coming in terms of the affordances of this integration, right? Like AI and Web3 has been like narratively collided in so many different contexts because, they are both promising general purpose technologies, but also there's a lot of money to be made. So there's a lot of noise that is going around just by taking something popular, clashing that onto something else that is popular, and creating a lot of noise without creating so much value. What I'm going to try to do in this talk is to kind of maybe show a very tangible direction as to what we can achieve together, as to what this intersection could be useful towards, and what it could facilitate. Before that, a little bit of introduction about myself. I'm Cem. As Renç mentioned, we're childhood friends from Istanbul since 15 years old. I studied in university economics and finance, worked a little bit in investment banking. Shortly thereafter, I found myself very interested in the sort of crypto wave, especially with the launch of Ethereum around 2015. After that, a second wave hit me with the programmable organizations vision, with DAOs specifically, with the idea that we can actually program, but also experiment with societal structures. And this is why I really got excited by smart contracts and their affordances, because we could, create society in a much faster iteration than the institutional innovation that's taking place through traditional channels of either democracy, authoritarianism, etc. So beyond that, taking this innovation to the speed of software was very exciting for me, very appealing for me. And this is also what makes me excited about this intersection, because I feel like with smart contract innovation, we also came to a little bit of an inertia. I'm in this ecosystem since about 2016, 2017 full time, so about 7 years. And we are still talking about more or less the same use cases of smart contracts. And these are not necessarily increasing, they are not necessarily widening their scope in terms of the audiences that they are serving. So there seems to be a limitation in terms of how much incremental progress we can get with the current trajectory of innovation and smart contracts. So I'm excited to potentially convince you all, or like embark on this journey together for finding a non-incremental way of engaging with decentralized infrastructure through the catalysis of machine learning and a little bit of cryptography. So as I mentioned, there's like a big usability problem with regards to Web3, and I think like many of you already know this. This doesn't really need too much elaboration. If you don't already know this, I'm jealous of you. But basically, there's like all these UX issues with Web3, all these security issues, but effectively, this is all because that there is no central authority that is handling things for you. So you have to, as a user, handle everything and be your own bank, be your own archive, be your own storage, and it becomes too much for many of the public to handle. And unfortunately, this is not something that many people are okay with. So this is where we get to a place where only a few people are engaging with Web3, and that filters out for selects for some kind of a profit motive, which means that you start getting less and less of organic users and more profit-seeking sharks, basically. So the question on my mind is, how can we transcend this and go towards organic usage in Web3? And in my view, this is going through complexity reduction. I think this is like something, the hard truth, that as Web3 mechanism designers, entrepreneurs, developers, the truth that we have to face. If there is no complexity reduction in today's world, there will be no usage, because the attention spaces of people, contemporary human beings, is so crowded, and there's so much competition for their mind space, that no matter how big the benefits are, if the complexity that you're presenting them as a function of the existing complexity that they're dealing with in their daily lives, if that complexity reduction is not there, then the benefits, how ideological or how valuable, it really does not matter. And in the world of Web 2, there is a very simple way of achieving this complexity reduction, which is through centralized control. So by controlling your data, by storing your data in private servers, by handling everything in a proprietary manner, Web2 companies have, and this is in no way trying to blame or ideologize this stuff, but it's a simple truth, that centralized control brings so much benefits in terms of agility of software development and the ways in which you can serve the customer and in a very agile manner. But it also has these dark sides, obviously, that you go towards farming user data and having almost no checks with regards to how you can utilize that and create violent systems that eventually turn into self-perpetuating, enslaving digital realities. So the question for me is, how do we achieve this complexity reduction in Web3? How can we offer to our users a complexity reduction ratio with a much smaller complexity at the denominator? And the thing that we have realized is that this is the purpose of machine intelligence being integrated to smart contract infrastructure, because now we have the opportunity through these integrations to make decisions or to outsource decision making to machine learning agencies that are 24/7 monitoring the infrastructure, and that are able to make much more disciplined decisions than irrational humans are able to do. And this irrationality obviously is not my subjective view. This is almost the sort of scientific term for human economic agents. So how does this intersection work, right? Like we have, by the way, this what you're looking at is the diagram from cybernetic control theory, which is about an intelligence that is able to observe a system, and through this observation enact a certain policy into regulating the system towards a desired state. And it's really exciting for me as someone who have studied cybernetics that we have been thinking about smart contracts and humans as this like cybernetic loop, but now there's this third entity that actually makes this let's say layered ecosystem much more effective and much more usable, because it reduces the friction between the machine logic and the human requirements, which obviously have a large rift in between. And by having this machine intelligence translate these user requirements into the infrastructure, we have a new pathway towards making Web3 much more accessible, much more usable, and also much more sort of impregnant with native use cases that we have not had before. One mental model that I find interesting is the how smart contracts relate to blockchains. As you know, the digital archaeology of blockchains is a very specific one, with the birth of Bitcoin, and then Bitcoin becoming sort of this almost, especially for the maximalists, early maximalists, almost a religion, that this digital, decentralized digital object that nobody is able to manipulate. And it was so sacred for the early maximalists, which are still around actually, that they thought putting these generalized computational capabilities, arbitrary computational capabilities of smart contracts on top of blockchains was some kind of heresy, was going from this notion of intemperable infrastructure towards something that is almost violating this maxim of intemperability decentralization. But through the emergence of Ethereum and the interesting things that came out of it, everyone more or less became, not everyone, except the maxis, became convinced that the future of decentralized infrastructure is actually innovating with these new capabilities that smart contracts bring about. So the integration of smart contracts to these lower layer immutable state actually enhance the use cases of blockchains, enhance their affordances, and thereby increase their adoption. Right now, you can look at how much Bitcoin blockchain is being used for transactions versus Ethereum or layer 2s on top of it, and there's not even a comparison in that sense. And we see something similar that is approaching with regards to agents and trust minimized machine learning on top of smart contracts. Smart contracts are obviously this static logic that is, especially the ones that have been battle tested, are really hard to change. So, and once they have proven their value, they just work according to their functionality in a quite trust minimized manner. We think that if we create this layer of machine intelligence from blockchain's data, if we extract these insights, we can provide a much better user experience and much better functionality through machine learning agents that are using smart contracts as their backend. Just like how smart contracts are using blockchains as their state, we can extend the functionalities of smart contracts through the use of these agents. So just to take that a little bit further, we are seeing a future where users don't have to interact directly with smart contract infrastructure anymore, but they can get much more sophisticated value propositions from agent-based applications merely by participating in agents, whether that's a tokenomic logic or whether that's a different type of membership structure. agents' participation themselves. And through participating in those, they would thereby participate in either one or multiple protocols simultaneously at the same time. We have many different tutorials that in the span of this week, you can already access them through the documentation pages of Giza, but we will also also present in many workshops throughout this week or these weeks. And you're going to be able to see how this agents are able to abstract away the complexities of liquidity pools and provide properties like impermanent loss protection, loss versus rebalancing protection, how they can automatically capture arbitrage for protocols and really give birth to these new smart applications that can be built on top of Web3. So I think the purpose of my talk again was about showing what we are building when we are building agents, and we can think about that as we are building the next iteration of smart contract based applications, and we can call that agentic applications. And yeah, I'm very excited to see what you all are going to be able to extend that towards. We have a lot of in a similar way to decentralization maximalism that Ethereum had sort of encountered. I'm sure we will also encounter a lot of resistance in terms of smart contract purism, in terms of some kind of romanticism about an idea of decentralization. But I want to I have personally faith that both us at Giza, we are working at the trust minimization mechanisms, whether that's crypto economic or cryptographic, so that these infrastructures can be utilized in a trust minimized fashion, providing this value to end users with the confidence that they can have financial engagement in these new primitives, but also have evolutionary dynamics, market dynamics within which failures are converted into learning, and then more secure systems emerge out of this interaction over time. And just maybe a final mental model to put out there is we get a lot of questions about what an agent actually means and how does that differentiate from a trading bot or an automated strategy. I made this very simple sort of compass for navigating that. We have two axes. One is trust minimization axis, and the other is being dynamic versus static. We have automated strategies at trust minimized and static quadrant. These are things like Yearn, that automatically execute a certain strategy for the benefit of the participants of those systems. And we have on static and trusted trading bots that take a certain heuristic and then execute on the market based on that heuristic. And then we have LLM agents, which a lot of people confuse what we are building with. So I think this is useful in that regard as well, where even though they are dynamic and also partially hallucinatory, but they are actually running on trusted infrastructure, which is that it is really hard to build a financial application, let's say, on top of an LLM agent. Not only that is unreliable in terms of the nature of transformers and the nature of hallucination of LLMs, but it's that it is running on a certain server, somebody's trusted backend that comes with no trust guarantees whatsoever. So I think this talk gave a good frame as to some mental models that you can work with. I will also be around throughout all these weeks to answer any of the questions that you might have from a product perspective, from a perspective of what makes sense to build, what makes sense as an interesting product in this space. So feel free to also reach out to me. And yeah, happy to hear Fran's talk as well right after this one.
Yeah, take your time. Over to you, Fran.
Right. Thank you, guys. So I will share my screen quickly, and my talk is going to be based on how these agents are technically structured and how you can understand what is the actual mental model of what an agent is, the different parts, and what you should think about when trying to build an agent. So let me try to share the screen.
While Fran is showing his screen, everybody please, if you have any questions, feel free to use either the chat section or the questions button on your bottom right side. Feel free to put these questions and we'll come back to them at the very end. And I'm sure our host here will love to reply with more guidance. But yeah, over to you, Fran.
Great, thank you. Can you see the screen? I guess yes.
Yes, perfectly fine.
Perfect. So the first thing that we need to understand when working with agents and understanding what are these agents, from a high-level perspective, we need to understand what's the different components that is formed of and how we can build with that. So an agent, it has three different main parts. We can understand it from observer, trust minimized ML, and intent. So the observer itself is what the agent sees from what is the chain that is like working on. For example, I don't know if you're mainnet or Optimism or Starnet or CitySync, any of these different chains, it gathers all this data, and based on this observation, it goes into the trust minimized ML module, where it creates a prediction. So it takes this data, it has underlying machine learning model, and creates the output of this model. And then this output of this model goes to the last part of the modules, which is the intent. And the intent is what is the actual strategy that you want to execute, what is the specific functionality that you want to interact with smart contract, with chain, etc. So for example, you are doing like liquidity pool rebalancing or yield strategies. This is defined inside the intent. And for this execution, it uses internally the inference of the machine learning model that you made previously. So if we go a little bit deeper, how this architecture looks like. So there are like two different parts. One is what is happening in the think off chain, where we create we get the data, we do the inference, and then how we act on chain, which is how do we interact with the smart contracts. So in the think of chain parts, we have the observation, which is data that we get. And for gathering this data, you can use our product Giza datasets or any kind of third-party service that you want to gather this data. For example, in Giza datasets, we provide very curated data for protocols or even chains that are targeted towards specific use cases. And it already has features and labels, so you can just take this data and train models with it. So it's very straightforward. Then we move from the observation and the data itself to the SIGML part, and I will go a little bit deeper into this later. So what we do here in the SIGML part is we generate model inferences. So basically the model takes in some data and generates an output as a result. And as the process of this computation, what we do is create a cryptographic proof, a CK proof of this computation, which allow us to verify that, okay, this data that came into the model generated this result as an output, and the computation is correct. There is no malicious behavior happening in the middle, and everything is correct. So then what we do is verify that the statement is correct. So there is this gating mechanism inside the agent that enables us to verify, okay, the inference is correct, so now I can do my smart contract interactions. So after that is verified, we do with the strategy definition and the smart contract interaction. So if the verification is not correct, so let's say that the model has been tampered with anything, or there is an error in the computation, there is not going to be a smart contract interaction because the verification won't to be there. So we make sure that one, the agents are deterministic, it has good behavior, and can be reliable for use cases that are managing basically money and funds from users. And then if we go into the CKML part, so why we are using CKML inside agents. So what we want to do is these agents to be as reliable as possible, to gather all different funds from users or basically anyone that wants, or even protocols to manage their treasuries to deposit into these agents. And what we want to do is minimize the amount of trust that you need to put into these agents in order to create reliable behavior with smart contract interactions. So with the CKML technology, what we can do is one, solve attribution. So what is the model that is actually performing a specific action on chain with a smart contract? We can directly link that to a zero knowledge proof, which is something very interesting. And the second one is trust minimization of the inputs for the agent, where, okay, we are not getting this data from any kind of weird source, or is being manipulated inside the model, or there is like a kind of bias. This is more embedded into the model itself, so there is no way to trick it or to hallucinate for inside the model behavior. The models that are used in CKML are completely deterministic, which means that for multiple executions with the same data, it's always going to generate the same output. So it's not the same case as if you execute an LLM, for example. It can hallucinate or make weird things. So we don't want that when we are like talking about doing the smart contract interactions that are managing money of people. And the last one is, thanks to your Giza Agents framework, the overhead of creating this zero knowledge proof is almost zero. So now you can just take any kind of on-chain data, build a model, and make the model verifiable with our framework in a very reliable way with almost no overhead. Where you can see, for example, here in the slides, that the proving time compared to other frameworks is super small. So you can reliably almost make proofs in real time for a specific topology of models. And if we go into a little deeper on how this actual architecture is, we have two different parts. One is the Giza platform, and the other one is the Giza Agents framework. So in the Giza Agents framework, what we have is just a Python package that you install. You do pip install, whatever, and you can have it, and you can execute the Giza Agents framework anywhere. You can execute it in your laptop, you can execute it in the cloud, you can execute it anywhere. It's completely permissionless, and it doesn't depend on us at all for anything. Then inside the Agents framework is where you code basically the observer, which is how you get the data for the agent to consume this data. It's also Python. So you can do that through our library or any kind of third-party Python library. You can use it. Then there is the model, and the model is not being executed inside the Giza Agents framework. It executes remotely the CKML model in the Giza platform, which is our managed infrastructure for CKML, and also is scalable, reliable, basically handles and offloads from you all the hard things from machine learning, and you just need to send a request to the predict function, and we will take care of that scaling and inferencing, proof generation, verification, and you just get back the result. That's everything that you need. Then the second part of what is embedded inside the agents is a wallet. So every agent that you will create, it will have attached an AOA wallet. So you can interact with Ethereum or any kind of chain directly from that wallet. So the agents are not something that you plug into your personal wallet unless you want to do it. So the agents act as a separate wallet where you or any kind of user will need to deposit some assets into that in order to execute the actual intent. So after that prediction, you go into intent execution. And the intent execution is also coded in Python. There will be more sessions regarding this where we are working on integrations where it's easier for you to do these interactions with the smart contracts. We have one for Uniswap. We're finishing up one with Enzyme, as is one of the partners that we have in the Gizathon, where you just need to do like one line of Python code, and you can do like creation of vaults, swapping, LPing, and it's completely transparent for you, like how do we manage the addresses, what is the parameter of the functions. That's completely abstracted. For the intent of execution, we use the underlying wallet of the agents framework that you created, and it's going to execute whatever you decide that the agent needs to execute. For the wallet, it supports almost every chain as well, but also not only chains, but also different type of wallets. You can also link safe multi-sig wallets, or you can just, for example, create like a coordination framework between multiple agents that act under like a multi-sig, which will be an interesting project to build. Or even hardware wallet like Ledger or Trezor, where you can just link them to your agent. So it's not like a software wallet. Then after that, it will create the interaction with the target protocol or chain or anything like that. So takeaways, there are 3 parts: model, data, model, and interaction, intent. And you will code everything in Python. You can start with the documentation that we have already. There are like very good onboarding tutorials, and things that you need to take in consideration when building these use cases is make sure that there is data available for the use case that you want to build. And if there is no data, we can help you out find the data for the use case that you want to build. Then train your model. This is kind of the easiest part that you can do currently, thanks to our automated tools, etc. And the last part is the intents. For the intent creation, make sure that you understand what is the protocol that you want to interact with. And if you want like an easier experience, you can always use our integration modules for that. Another tip, if you want to automate as easy as possible the model creation part of the agent, we very recently released a new tool, which is called Model Complexity Reducer, where you just have your data that you gather from the chain, and we will train for you the model with the best parameters and gathering the best performance, and we will make the model also verifiable and make sure that always runs and generates proofs as fast as possible. So this is something that we automated very recently, and you can just leverage it for your agent creation very easily, and then the intent creation. So yeah, that's everything from my side, all the tips and understanding of how the agents works. So if you have any question, we will be happy to take them.
Thank you, Fran. We have a few questions. I think, Renç, maybe we can go through them in the questions area. I don't know if you want me to read out, or you're going to go through them on your pace, at your pace.
No problem. I can read them out. So Jennifer asked, what are the best use cases for Giza agents, or how are they being used today? That's a great question. First of all, for each of these bounties and each of the bounty sections, we provided a quite comprehensive list to inspire you and to walk you through what these agents can do. I can take like this question now, and we can discuss it a little bit. The design space of agents is quite vast, and there's like a couple of buckets that we can tap into. The best use case that we see, that Jem also mentioned in the chat, is towards like financial products. We call these structured smart assets that basically rebalance themselves, or they can be invested in. One example that we have created that also Fran mentioned is this Uniswap agent that basically provides an impermanent loss protected account for its users, where at the model side it has a volatility prediction model. And on the strategy side, it basically tells if the prediction is above a certain threshold, rebalance my liquidity pool positioning accordingly and protect me from impermanent loss. Another agent that we're working on StarkNet is a cross-protocol yield aggregator, where on its core model, it has a yield forecasting model where it uses a machine learning model to predict yield in each protocol. So across many landing protocols on StarkNet. And then it has an allocation engine that basically combines the current yield data and the model prediction to determine the most optimal asset allocation across various yield avenues. What does this agent do? It maximizes yield returns. It reduces transaction costs because, you transact when you're supposed to. It optimizes capital allocation, and it manages risk efficiently. So this is like the use case area of financial assets. But the list goes on and on. There's different types of derivatives without man-in-the-middle points of failure that is coming into place, such as like gas futures, where if you can predict the volume for transaction demand, you can basically buy future gas contracts for interacting on chain. You can sell them with the right pricing because you have a better idea of how much demand will be in the future, and you can buy those on the and market make the gas market. Besides this, there's obviously like arbitrage agents. And above all, we believe any up-and-coming decentralized technology will benefit massively from agents. You can take, decentralized social media as an example that is seeing quite an uptick with, the up-and-coming Farcaster and Lens protocol, where we can have, verifiable recommendation systems that are true to the ethos of decentralization, and both identification agents that basically cleanse the platform autonomously. It's all towards the understanding of, having a verifiable machine learning model, a clear strategy, and that translates into an on-chain utility that can be automated on top of a decentralized protocol. We will, discover and explore all of these with everyone involved throughout the week and the weeks that are coming. But, I'm sure we can be quite creative. Great. Let's see. Mahmoud asked, what are core challenges and roadblocks in applying agents in Web3? That's a very good question. Fran, maybe I will let you take it from a technical perspective, and Jem, if you want to chime in afterwards from like the product perspective, that will also be great.
Yeah, from the technical perspective, as I was mentioning in my presentation, just make sure that you have the data available for what you want to build. So first, make sure you have a clear understanding of what you want to build, in order to first check there is data available for that. So this is one of the main challenges when you are trying to build an agent, that the data that you want to be the agent acting on is actually available and it's like meaningful data. That's one of the parts. And I will say the other challenge is going to be the intent creation or the smart contract interaction. So really think about, okay, what do I want to do with this specific protocol? So for example, if you're going to do LP rebalancing in Uniswap, okay, how the liquidity pools work, how to do the actual contract calls to these functions, to do the deposits, the withdrawals, the rebalancing itself. So really understanding how that works is going to provide you much more clarity when you are developing the agents. I think these are the two main challenges.
Just to follow on that, so I think this answer has two like pre-Giza and post-Giza versions. In pre-Giza, the challenges are like a little bit too hard to enumerate because you have to again achieve this trust minimization on the ML level, which with Giza we are creating a fully abstracted away zkML flow that lets you do that very easily through the Giza platform. And then you have to integrate those to the strategies that Fran mentioned. And this, again, we are taking care of in the agents product. And then you have to run these agents in a trust minimized fashion. And this is the Giza protocol. So like post Giza, I think from a product perspective, and totally agree that like the main challenge is like the data and writing the right strategy of how to convert those ML predictions into an interesting and valuable use case that is valuable for a multi-agent context, right? Like, so if you are making a trading algorithm that you're going to eat the alpha with the volume that you are trying to serve, that's not a good use case. You should trade that privately and not create a decentralized application. You should look for things that have public value. That's another mental model that is, I think, worth sharing, that is useful in a multi-agent setting. I think the mechanism design product challenge that comes with designing agents is finding the right models of participation and the right type of gating criteria for basically right business models for these agents, and providing that value to those communities in a sustainable fashion through those business models. Like, the reason I find that, or I would classify that under challenging, is not because it's a hard problem, but on the contrary, because it's such a nascent category, practice. There is not much prior experience with that. So it is Wild West in the sense that it is wide open for new innovation, new type of mechanisms for all of you to experiment with, especially after you find a use case that is repeatable, that is meaningful, valuable for audiences that you would like to extend towards. And then you need to ask this question of, okay, how do I make this a self-sustaining product that is failure resistant and that is financially sustainable at the same time? I find this quite an exciting challenge.
Great, fantastic. Adam asked, are there any examples of use cases with real-world assets? We don't have it currently, but it's quite an exciting space to explore that we will be happy to support you with. Shiv asked, Renç, if I understood you correctly, there's already apps agents on ZK Sync and Linea. They are provided by gas features, as you mentioned. Then how exactly we are different with them? There are none currently. This gas features example was an example that we are thinking about, which can be an interesting agent to build, but it's totally up to you to build the first one. Let's see. I don't see any current questions, but an overall message to everyone is that we are a team that is very, very responsive, and we will take all the questions you have on the Encode Discord. We will be everywhere doing everything all at once, so you can count on us to answer everything. Just to close, maybe, Yasen, if that's okay, I will add a few more words, and then I'll pass it on to you. As I mentioned when we were just answering the question to Shiv, you are the first developers hacking on a hackathon dedicated to on-chain agents. So the opportunity to benchmark and the opportunity to be creative is quite vast, and it's all up to you. You are also the first people who will be touching this product for the first time, besides our team, and this is also the super exciting part for us. So there will be opportunities to provide feedback, obviously. Those will be extremely valuable to us, and if you see any ways that we can improve, you will have the many Giza team members around you to take those improvements, and we'll put them into our product backlog and make sure to iterate accordingly. As of now, we are happy to pronounce you all Giza brains. This is what we name everyone who's trying to build with the mission to push what Web3 can do, and expanding its use cases, as Jan mentioned, expanding the participation tool, as Fran mentioned. And as Giza brains, the teams that are able to submit their projects and come to the finish line will all receive a Giza brain package from us, which will be relieved upon you receiving it. But we care for every one of you, really, and we have always built quite an intimate relationship with people using the Giza products. So the relationship will definitely not end with this hackathon. And we have cohorts that we help people build with. We have other opportunities that we help people build with. And another opportunity that we want to provide you guys is that throughout the next weeks, we want to give you and your work as much as visibility as possible. So if you send a tweet to our account, which is at GizaTechXYZ, I will share it here. We will make sure to retweet it from our main account and tell the world that what you guys are building is important. Just tell us, mention what you're working on the Agents Gizathon, and we'll be able to amplify it. Having said that, this is the first day, and we're extremely excited to get this going. And just very much looking forward to everything. Yes, and I'll pass it on to you.
Thank you, Renç. Very well said. For all of you that are here and all of you that are just watching the recording, there's been a lot of work happening behind the scenes. There's been a lot of effort being put into this hackathon, and there's so much that can be gained from it. And as Renç said, this is an exciting new tech that you can be the first people to engage with and build something amazing. So don't be afraid to ask questions. There's obviously going to be a lot of question marks. There will probably be things that you're not sure how to do, but that's what we're all here for. Everybody will be really active, and we'll try to support you over the course of the next 3 weeks, so that hopefully by the end of it you end up submitting something and maybe even win something as well. But again, it's not all about the rewards, it's also about the friends we make along the way and the friendships we make along the way. So don't be a stranger, say hi, and hopefully this hackathon will be a great networking event for all of you as well. Thank you all for being part of this launch event and first workshop. As a reminder, there's going to be a lot more events throughout the first week. Tomorrow we'll have a full stack Giza workshop, which is also going to be hosted by the Giza team as well. We'll have a couple on Wednesday as well, and on Thursday we have a dedicated partner panel where all the partners that you saw at the very beginning and the bounties that they were offering, there will be a discussion on how all these synergize and how can you all make the most out of it. So hopefully it's going to be an interesting, both technical and non-technical overviews of everything, and this first week will be really exciting. Don't forget, towards the end of the first week, you will be expected to submit the idea that you will be working on. There is a dedicated form which you will find in the Hacker Pack, but we'll also post on Discord. So if you're not in Discord, please make sure to do so and follow up as we will be posting along the week. That is all. Thank you, Renç, thank you, Fran, thank you, Jem, for being here. This was an amazing launch. Hope everybody enjoyed it as well. And see you again tomorrow.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.